شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and welcome once again inshallah to our series for this year Ramadan, the virtues of the Quran. Today inshallah we look at the importance of revering the Quran by establishing the night prayers with a portion of it and reciting part of the Quran in our night prayers. In a beautiful hadith reported by Abu Dawud and authenticated by Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala, the hadith of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhuma, when he said, Qala Rasulullah sallallahu man qama bi ashri ayatin lam yuktab min al-ghafilin, that whomsoever stands in the night prayer and they recite 10 verses of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala therein, they will not be written from amongst those who are mindful and heedless. وَمَنْ قَامَ بِمِئَةِ آيَةٍ كُتِبَ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ, and whomsoever stands in the night prayer reciting 100 verses of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are written from amongst those who are devoutly obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ قَامَ بِأَلْفِ آيَةٍ كُتِبَ مِنَ الْمُقَنْطَرِينَ, and the one who establishes 1,000 verses in the night prayer is written from amongst the muqantarin, those who have a tremendous hold with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this hadith we see the importance of establishing the night prayer and reciting part of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala therein. And to give this hadith context, reciting 10 ayat is reciting from the Qisar al-Mufassal, the short surah which is a bit lengthy in its meaning. From amongst them, Surah Al-Adiyat or Surah Al-Bayyinah, that a person, after he has performed his Isha Salah and he prays his Sunnah, and then he delays his witr, and later on at the night he stands up, he performs ablution, and he stands and he prays 2 raka'at, and in this 2 raka'at he recites Surah Al-Bayyinah or Surah Al-Adiyat. He's written from amongst those who are not unmindful, subhanallah. And if we go beyond this, an individual who recites 100 verses of the book of Allah Azza wa Jal in the night prayer, he's written from amongst those who are devoutly obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the virtue and the rank is increased. And the one who establishes a night prayer and recites 1,000 verses of the book of Allah Azza wa Jal is written from amongst those who have a great reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the benefits derived from this hadith is that the Prophet connects the sa'irin, those who reverse to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he connects them with the Quran, and he connects that link between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That first, you're not written from amongst the ghafilin. If you increase upon this, you are from amongst the devoutly obedient. And if you increase upon this, you are from amongst those who are considered to have a tremendous reward. And one of the greatest ways to establish our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we experience in this month of Ramadan, it is through reciting His book, number 1. And number 2, establishing the night prayer, which is a practice that many of us are mindful of throughout the year. But in the month of Ramadan, we do this. The practice of the Muslim should be that he indulges and engages in deeds, and he does a little of them, but he is consistent upon it. So to recite Surah Al-Adiyat and a short surah of the Quran in 2 raka'at as a form of Qiyamul Layl is something which is easy. But many of us are unable to achieve this, and to Allah Azza wa Jalla we complain. How do we implement this hadith in our lives? That we should strive to pray at night and recite the Quran, even if it be 10 verses. And finally, compete and ascend in the stations of the travelers. That once we establish 10 ayat, let us go beyond this, let us go to 100. And once we get to 100, let us build upon that up until we reach the Qiyamul Layl of the Prophet ﷺ, wherein he read 1,000 verses and beyond. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make us amongst those in the month of Ramadan. We recite His book during the day, and we establish Taraweeh, Qiyamul Layl during the nights, inshaAllah. For whosoever gathers between these two deeds is from amongst those who strive in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Ibn Rajab rahimahullah ta'ala said, نكتفي بهذا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر